Welcome to the Adaptive Collaborative Podcast, connecting the adaptive communities. Hosted by James Norris, founder of Handy Capable Fitness, and Melissa DeChellis, founder of Adaptively Abled Amputees and Adaptively Abled Fitness.
Thank you, all of you, for tuning in tonight for the very first episode of the Adaptive Collaborative. Both myself, Melissa DeChellis of Adaptively Abled Amputees and Adaptively Abled Fitness, has teamed up with my esteemed co-host, James Norris of Handy Capable Fitness. And this podcast is an attempt to collaborate and to connect with other leaders in the adaptive community. And tonight I am so excited to be able to bring on our special guest, Tim Morris. He is the head trainer of Adaptively Abled Fitness. He is an accomplished, very accomplished adaptive athlete and a fitness professional. And Tim, I'm gonna let you take the floor and give us a basic intro.
Awesome. Well, you just did that, but yeah, first of all, I love the name of the podcast. However you guys came up with that, it's awesome. And super excited to be the first one, that you guys asked to have on. So thank you. Let's see. Prior to my injury, phys ed teacher, personal trainer, run of the mill, dime a dozen personal trainer. But 3 weeks after finishing my master's, flipped my Grand Cherokee, broke my neck, broke my back, but all my ribs, everything actually except for my legs actually, but and paralyzed from the chest down, T3 spinal cord injury. I woke up a month later from medically induced coma. And my world is obviously flipped upside down. My life is health and fitness, and 2/3 of my body doesn't work right anymore, or work like it used to. Professionally, I didn't know where I stood in the world. So after some soul searching and just trying to figure out my way and get used to this different life, this new life, I'm like, okay. I can't just be a personal trainer anymore. I'll just be looked over. So I was like, okay, where am I going with this? What's the most respected avenue I can take? I wasn't ready to become a phys ed teacher again yet. So I became a certified strength and conditioning specialist. There's only the 2 or 3 of us in the country in chairs. And I'm like, you know what, this is my niche. Working with neuro complications became, my passion, but helping people still love working with kids after a few years, back to teaching. So, I work at an inner city underserved high school, and there's no place I'd rather be. It's hard work, but the reward, hopefully for them and for myself, is worth it. And so strength coach, working with neural complications, really dove into that, and along the way, got into obstacle racing. I think I was the first guy in a chair to ever do a Tough Mudder, and Joe DeSena caught wind of what happened, and my relationship with Spartan Race took off from there. I've done, I don't even know, 25, 30 of those, and, marathons, triathlons. Along the way, was introduced to Mel by Dave Estrada, and the rest is history.
You are a real life Superman, honest to God. But I have a question here. So how did the mental toughness that you needed to do these events, how did that correlate to your career as a teacher?
Yeah, man. So actually, the way I think of it is like I'm in the hospital and visiting hours are over, and I'm laying there in that bed, broken and alone, trying to figure it all out, right? And I was fortunate that injuries like this happen to so many people, and so many people fade to black and fall into a deep depression. And I'm so fortunate that I can say that I dug deep, I found strategies, and I never allowed myself to truly go there. Of course it's, been the fight of my life, but the first thing I did was take ownership. For me, I was driving my Grand Cherokee. I flipped my Jeep. It was my fault. I took ownership of the situation, the choices that I made that led up to it. And then, and I came up with what I call the 3 Ps, perspective. Perspective number 1 is, somebody somewhere always has it worse. It's like you can do this. It's so perspective, patience and perseverance. So the 3 Ps is really, where it went from there. And, getting into obstacle racing, which is kind of where that question led off from. It's like, all right, so I started in chair and getting people with straps to like help pull as I'm pushing and train and everything is crazy. And I'd look at every performance individually, look at the challenges I face, look at my impact on the people that are running with me. And I wanted to take more and more off of their shoulders onto myself, right? And then it just became like not using a wheelchair at all, and it turned into wheelbarrowing these races where people would be holding my legs, and I would just be going that way.
So you had said a moment ago that you developed strategies. So what strategies did you develop that helped you to kind of dig deep and find that mental toughness? What advice could you give to the person that's newly injured, that's laying in that bed right now, or they're just home in their living room and trying to take in everything that happened? What can you say to them? What strategies could they try to implement to try to develop their own mental toughness?
Yeah. All right. A couple things that I did, and these were really tough. Now, not everybody is able to be like, and take the ownership of their situation quite as easy as it was for me, right? You can't, you just by chance happen to jump off a boat at the wrong time and dive into a sandbar. Total, freak accident. And it's like, and that's so tough, right? But where you are now, you can't, you have to, I accepted where I was at, right? And there's no what ifs. There's no point in doing that. It's like jealousy. It's a useless emotion. Just the what ifs are useless. The negative emotions, the negative, all that stuff it's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to be hurt by it. Like you're only hurting yourself by the negative thoughts, any negative actions. And I just that was my focus, just avoiding that completely. Watch The Secret really helped develop. I probably watched The Secret while I was in the hospital, no lie, 250 times. Just watch it, just try to develop a more thoughtful, positive, be aware of my thoughts and developing a mature mindset. And it was being able to own it, and you know, and just putting in the work to think, to live with a positive mindset. And so I realized that I really put myself into, you know, and it was a real uphill battle that I was facing. Everybody cares about you, but then they also have to live their life. Nobody was going to do the work to improve my situation but me. It's all on me. And it just unleashed this animal, right?
It unleashed the beast.
So that, I can say, for me personally, it was the best thing that happened to me, because it unleashed whatever potential was in there that I was wasting, right? So it's like I was living life, but I wasn't living. I was just existing, and now there, like, you know, 2/3 of my body doesn't necessarily work right, but I'm 100% aware of what I do have, and I make the most of it.
Now, you're not only the only PE teacher in the country that's in a wheelchair, but you also coach track and field, and they're one of the best teams in the country. So can you talk a little bit about that, but also what it's like to be in a wheelchair and coach able-bodied athletes?
Well, I appreciate you pumping my tires. My sprinters are sprinters are some of the best in the state. But you know, hey, it was my first year, so by year 4 we'll get the best in the country. Yeah, man. But you know, it's been years of being a strength coach in a chair, so it's the verbal cueing, right? Like, if we're facing I'm not a woe is me guy, so I accept where I'm at and excel with whatever I can, or try to excel with whatever I can. And, you know, to be no other sport translates as well to strength and conditioning like track and field. So I can teach kids to systematically jump higher, run faster, be more explosive. So track was a great transition. And, you know, being a runner myself, like, you know, I get going to the pain cave and just going to that dark place and just like embracing the suck, as they say, right? So, yeah, track was easy. Phys ed, you know, and people tend to look at somebody with a physical, you know, with some form of complication, whether it's visible or invisible, you know, and they, you know, you'll get, honestly, I get people that like come along and like literally like give me the verbal pat on the head. Like you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you don't know me. Like I'm good. I'm good. So it's like, but that's all. I realize that's on them. I'm empathetic to those people, and it's my job, I feel, to show them the capabilities, right? And like if I walk in a room, you know, I let people know how they can. I show people how they can, you know, communicate with me or talk to me. You know, I'm just not one to accept the verbal pat on the head, the little guy.
So, can you describe to us what your biggest challenge and success has been, personally as a coach, but also as a teacher? So that one student that was really hard to get through to, what was that triumphant moment when you finally saw eye to eye and were able to get through to them? And then what has been your biggest challenge and success coaching either an able-bodied or an adaptive individual?
Yeah, it's. I have so many successes that I'm people that I'm proud of. I'm sorry, my light is like going quickly. I'll turn my light on in a second. But people that don't believe in themselves are. I love working with people who lack the self-confidence and self-efficacy, because if I do anything well, it's making people believe in themselves, right? I don't do the work for them. I can help coach them. I can offer them suggestions. They have to do the work, and they have to do the personal work to believe in themselves. Once you get that out of somebody, once any of us get that out of ourselves, sky's the limit. And that's the truth. Like, and that's why my girls, as soon as I got my hands on this track team, it really make them, and it's easy. Like if I'm, they're looking at a guy in a chair who knows his stuff, and I'm trying not to swear, and it's really hard. Looking at this guy who knows his stuff, and he's like, and he's showing you, he's telling you to do something, but he's explaining why you want to do it, and then you see the improvements, you feel the improvements. That's how you build the trust. Yeah.
To piggyback kind of off that question, or to play off that question, you were the head programmer for the Adaptively Abled Fitness pilot program. What was your best experience, and what would you tell any future athletes of the program?
Well, some of the best experiences are sitting on this podcast right now, and it's the interactions, right? It's like seeing people feel better about themselves, just being in a group of like-minded individuals, and growing together. I don't know. So honestly, it's just the relationships, and everything we do, no matter what we do in life, whether you're sales, you're a coach, you're a teacher, you're, a plumber, landscaper, whatever we're doing, everything is relationships. And developing relationships, caring about other people. The inner city high school that I teach at, it's such a diverse population. I had a couple options. One was very, homogenous, small town. Then I had this high school, and it was like it was a no-brainer because it's a diverse population. It's much harder, but the reward is much greater.
I'll let James go.
To piggyback off that question, being that you were the head programmer, what would you say to other fitness professionals that have never worked with an adaptive athlete as to why they should get involved in the next part of the program?
Yeah, man, I love that. Let's sign people up. Sign people up who want to learn, right? So it's just like you gotta be humble, not think that you know everything, because even if you take 5 spinal cord injuries, and even they're all T3 spinal cord injuries, they all present very, every injury is different, right? So, and any, as people know, every amputee is facing their own challenges, right? Anybody with CP, James, we know that you are you're a maniac. You're a bad man, right? And you will do things, no questions asked, just because that's what you do. But other people may be a little more timid. So coming into coach, coaches that will be successful are willing to learn, understand that they don't know everything, and the more you realize and the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know, right? And just being humble, being open, communicating, saying that you don't, like asking questions. But we've had some great coaches in here because they can communicate. We have some great communicators and always looking for more.
So Tim, you founded your own organization, Move to Improve SCI. Would you mind explaining a little bit about the mission of Move to Improve and where you see the future of the organization going?
Yeah, well, I see great things forward in the future. I just feel like there's I don't know. I see a lot of people with SCI. Once they get out of rehab, they have some opportunities. They have some choices to make where they're doing a regular fitness program, but they're doing very minimal stuff. They're just doing a variety of activities that can only tap into their potential. Move to Improve is strength training for SCI now that caters to your specific injury level, because every level has a general presentation, right? Every level presents like a certain or should present a particular level of function, and but they not all do. Not all of them do. It kind of varies a little bit. But my programming will get you, will tailor it to your specific level, and then we'll offer a variety of activities to cater specifically to you and as an individual. And so I'm not looking to make you get up out of your chair and go. I'm looking to create the best version of you, and through a community of like-minded people, with my programming, my coaching, nutritional guidance, whatever. If you're looking for body composition change, you're looking for particular strength gains, and we can take functional gains as far as those will come if they come, but I'm not so really looking to create an online platform and make it accessible to everybody, make it, and so that's about it.
That leads perfectly into this next question. What is one thing or two things that you know now that you wish you knew when you first got injured?
Ooh. All right, man. So I spent the first 5 years after my injury, singularly focused on trying to walk again. I wasn't, sorry. I don't know if you can hear that. Yeah, welcome to Manchester, New Hampshire. So I spent the first 5 years after my injury singularly focused on trying to get up out of the chair, right? And if I could do it all over again, I would have diversified my portfolio. Certainly would have tried to work on creating more function, but I would have began living life sooner. It's kind of like I put my life on hold, on pause for a number of years, and I really wish I didn't do that, but hindsight's 2020. That's probably, honestly, that's the biggest one. Outside of that, I could get into, the effects of like nutrition, how important nutrition is, not just for the able-bodied individual, but somebody facing some type of, physical complication. Nutrition is so incredibly important, reducing inflammation and all sorts of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, really, it's just like starting to live life, a little bit sooner and kind of still chase after, what makes you happy.
Embracing the new normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. So earlier you were talking about how you were quick to take ownership of what happened. I myself kind of relate that same ideal to allowing myself to have grace for previous mistakes to be able to move on. So a model and ideal that is very near and dear to me. You had talked about your 3 Ps, and James and I have spoke extensively about our 3 Gs, which are grace, gratitude, and grit.
Love it.
So how can you see those 3 ideals playing into your own life and into your own journey?
I'm sorry, the grace, gratitude, and grit?
And grit.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, all right. So obviously grace, right? Now is a phenomenal time to talk about grace, living with grace, not outside of our own, thinking outside of us, because it's not all about us. But it's like now social media is a cesspool. It's disgusting, right? And it's so divisive. Everything around us is so divisive, and it's just like, listen, if you can just take the high road, living life with grace, not living with that sense of anger in your belly, right? Yeah, gratitude, of course. If you can, it's actually, early on, I would wake up in the morning, and no matter how many challenges or how many woes me moments you were trying to have, if you wake up in the morning and you say 3 things to yourself, you say thank you for 3 things that you have, right? We all have so much more than we realize if we strip it all down with everything, with the corona, with everything that's going on. When you break it down to bare minimum, we're fortunate to have a roof over our heads, a loved one, just food on the table. You can strip it down to as far as you want to go, just things to be thankful of. And if you can wake up in the morning to say, be grateful for, a few things every morning, you're going to start the day, on the right side of the bed or whatever, grace, gratitude, and grit. Well, we have physical complications that we deal with individually. And so we all know our daily struggles. And then we have to deal with the outside perspective of what we're going through. And we have to hold ourselves to I don't know, we still have to go out there and I don't think anybody in this room presents as a woe is me type of person, right? Whether it's there for real or not, hopefully it's there for real. You have a smile on your face, and you just do the best you can with what you got all the time. It's exhausting, but it's a character builder, and that's what it's all about.
This podcast is a collaboration between Handicapable Fitness and Adaptively Abled Fitness. Why do you think it's so important for our community, and what do you think it will do?
Yeah, I love the idea that, I love what you guys are doing, and hopefully you get a diverse crowd in here. Like looking at this room right now, there's some incredible people in this room, and it's going to bring a host of a ton of other people, where we can all do our part to touch each other's lives and really, bring out the best in each other. And I think that's what you guys are, setting out to do, and what I think you can do.
Yeah, it's all about collaborating. There's too much competition out there, and it's time, especially after everything that's going on in the world, to kind of come together and work as one team, because we all have common goals. So when you're not in the gym, which is where I mostly see you, what does Mr. Morris like to do for fun?
Yeah, well, the gym is fun, right? So,
It is.
school ended today, and I went out for an 11-mile run. And school ends for good tomorrow, so I'll probably go out and, I'll probably get 15 in, go for a run. Yeah, man. So I just like, it's what I like to do. I just like to, life is short. I like to see what I can do, how far I can push it, and, what I'm capable of. And, it's weird. I don't do too much else besides, well, it's like working a couple full-time jobs. I like to run. I like to, I don't know, social togetherness, whatever. So.
What do you do to unwind? You are always on point, and you are always so focused, and you give 120% of yourself into absolutely everything you do. When you finally get that quiet moment to kind of unwind, what do you do to relax and allow yourself that grace to be able to unwind after a productive day?
Once in a while, I like Moscow mules, so I'll probably have one of those. And just, I don't know, just chill out, and but I do, so I'm like, I listen downtime. I listen to a lot of podcasts, I'm like just continuously like just trying to grow as a human, as a person, there's a whole lot of craziness going on in the world right now, and if you can bring, some positivity to it, you're doing your part,
Here you go, Tim. I'm gonna throw a really challenging question at you. So if you had a crystal ball and you could make your ultimate dream come true, what would that dream be?
Ironman Kona. I don't care about winning it. I'm just working to get there. I knew that one. That one came out quick.
That was a quick answer. So, what is your favorite book and why?
The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I have it tattooed down my right arm. And it's a book I read after the injury. It's about finding your purpose, right, and becoming who you're meant to be. There's a word that is continuously repeated throughout the book, maktub. It's Arabic. It means it is written. It's like, for me personally, I feel like this happened so I could. I was a big ball of potential, and this, opened up. Opened me up to what I was fully capable of. That's why I say it was the best thing that ever happened to me. As hard as it's been hell. But It's all about perspective. And I know a lot of people look around this room. There's some amazing people in here, and like I know we all have those moments. Listen to people complain about like the dumbest stuff, and you're like, gosh, it's all about perspective. And for me, The Alchemist, really, it showed me that you can have anything you want to do if you're able to wrap your head around it and give everything to it to go get it. So The Alchemist, Paulo Coelho.
So there's some people in here that are new, and let's say they're new to this adaptive lifestyle. You said earlier that you're pretty social, that you like to get out, socialize with people. What would some advice that you would give? Especially, I'm going to get in the nitty gritty here just a little bit, like in the dating world.
Yeah, man. Listen, other people will have their perception of you. Don't give them a reason to think any less of you. For me, I mentioned it earlier, I carry myself in a way that I don't let people talk down to me, treat me differently. My goal is to, within the first 10 minutes of meeting somebody, have them not see the chair. And I do my best to accomplish that with everybody. That includes dating, right? So, it's just like, I don't listen, it's who I am, take it or leave it. It shrinks the dating pool no matter what, but anybody that you're talking to, they at least have a little bit of character in them, that they're able to see the person and not the avenue to get around, the vehicle to get around, So put yourself out there, try. It takes practice. You got to go through reps, right? Shoot or shoot. So you need to get out there and make mistakes, but be true to yourself. You got to be real. You can't front, and it'll work out when it's supposed to.
Love it. So it takes a lot of confidence to try to get yourself mustered up to get out there and try again, and to get out there and try in many different aspects of one's life. You said that the favorite athletes that you work with are those that are struggling with self-confidence. How do you help those athletes discover the confidence and that badassery inside them?
Yeah, so it's small victories, right? You crawl before you ball. Like you just once they accomplish one small victory, they know, they start to build brick by brick, the beast within, right? And once they can, one small victory, it steamrolls, it snowballs. So it's just like they start to build, and then they just keep going, and they keep going. Everybody can do it. Everybody can do it.
So we have just a few minutes left, or actually about 15, but I've been seeing the chat go crazy. I think there's some people that have a few questions. So Melissa, if you could pull up the chat and see if there's people. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see. We would love to have you guys ask Tim some questions, but we ask that you do it one at a time.
So does anybody have a question right off the bat? If you could just raise your hand and unmute yourself if you're not already muted.
I talk a lot. There's not a whole lot. Oh, Judy.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
I don't have a question. The only thing that I would like to say is Tim, you're my hero. I can't believe what you've accomplished in the amount of time that I've known you. And I just can't wait to see what's in store for you next. You're just killing it.
Well, Judy, before I personally knew you, I knew all about you and how amazing you were. So, thank you, but you're pretty freaking spectacular yourself.
Hey, I just want to share something. I just played 9 holes out at Wayland Country Club, and I shot 47 on the back 9. Woo-woo!
Good job, Kate.
My
Awesome.
best round ever there. I'm like so psyched.
So while we have the mic on you, how do you think participation in adaptively abled fitness and a lot of our adaptive workouts have affected your golf game and your overall health and well-being?
Well, she's drinking some wine. Are you drinking wine right now? You got to celebrate.
It was water.
No, I have Chardonnay, by the way. Absolutely, the workouts have, my endurance has, I have gotten so much more out of the workouts. The strength, the agility, the stretching, it has made such a huge difference in my golf game, and I can't thank you enough. Melissa, Tim, James, working out with you guys has just been a whole new experience for me.
And somebody beat the boys not too long ago, didn't she?
Woo-hoo!
She was top score out of all the guys a few weeks
It
ago.
was low net 3 weeks ago. Woo!
Beth had a question for us.
Yeah, sorry, my dog's being a pain in the you-know-what. My question is, first day of school when the kids meet you, especially freshmen, I'm just curious what your 30-second speech is, because they've got to be looking at you and saying, you know, what the heck, what's going on here? And as a freshman and a 13-year-old, I can see a lot of the kids in the population that you have going, really? So I'm really curious as to how you nip that in the bud with the kids and make them understand that there are no boundaries. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Honestly, every class, first 5 minutes, you know, I introduce myself. It's just tell them it was a car accident 13 years ago. I'll take 3 questions. You get typically 2 ridiculous, stupid questions, and then one kind of thoughtful question, and then and that's it. But again, with them, it's like they see a guy in a chair. They've
profiled you already. They've already pegged you. They've already pegged you, right?
Right. So it's like, but then they see me like whipping around. They see me getting equipment. They see me doing, everything. And it's kind of like, particularly inner city school that I'm at, it's like struggle, respect, struggle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I have some stronger relationships than a lot of veteran teachers there. Just because I put the work in to connect with kids, and you get back what you give.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I have another question. I have seen you come up with some pretty creative home workouts during COVID. What advice could you tell the person who has yet to pick up that Tide bottle or that soup can as a weight and create a creative workout at home?
Right on. So take pride in no athlete I've ever worked with has ever been injured, right? Safety first and foremost. But if you don't know what you're doing, don't just jump into, some crazy, one-handed, handstand push-ups. Again, like, you start slow and you incrementally, build the base. And as you're doing that, it's like, it's like everything else. If, you've never done a push-up before, your goal is to do a push-up or do a pull-up. You are going to put in work, the accessory work that you have to do to ultimately lead up to that pull-up. It's more than just grabbing a bar and instantly pulling yourself up. Nobody can do that. But there's a variety of activities that you can do that you learn about, you teach yourself, you gain the knowledge how to do it safely, how to do it well, and 1 turns into 2, turns into 5, and you start to realize that you can accomplish goals. And the great thing about physical activity is you develop that self-efficacy and figure out that you're able to do something, and hopefully that confidence translates into other areas of your life.
I love that.
That's why life lessons, and then so many life lessons can come from either working out or, and physical education for me,
So
Hey,
Trandon just posted a really great question. Thanks, Trandon. Trandon asked, how do you respond to people when out in public and they ask you why you're in a chair? There may be days that you may not want to go into a detailed explanation. So somebody passing by and randomly asking you, what is your typical response?
Yeah, Trandon, I don't know what your backstory is, but I'm just like, car accident, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, and and it's typically they feel bad. I'm like, don't feel bad. Best thing that ever happened to me. It's opened a lot of doors for me, and I don't go through it, but it's like, it's opened a lot of doors for me, and I just leave it at that. But the doors have been opened because relationships I've built, or things that I set out to accomplish. It's not like just because I'm in a chair, doors were there. I had to build those doors to kick them down, So that's just, it's all about, listen, if you put in the work and I fully believe that I try to be a really great person all the time. And I believe in karma, and and you put in the work, you do your best. People will feed off of that, or people will see that and be like, I want to be around this light. I want to be around this fire. It makes me feel good, and opportunities come up. If you can. It's all about perseverance, perspective, and having patience, realize it's not happening tomorrow.
All right, Tim. You know what? I can't find a better way to end this podcast than with that answer right there. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on and doing this with us. This was a great first episode. Thank you to Melissa for all the work you've done with this. Thank you to you guys, each and every one of you watching, and we will see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you, Tim.
Bye.
All right.
You guys.
Oh, it was great.
Thank you, Tim. Bye.
Great first start.
Thank you. Awesome.